this idea of leadership being subtle, it's not as satisfying as people want it to be. And they want this thing where it's loud and spotlight's on you and you jump in and...
You mean where your ego gets completely gratified by being the man?
And you want to look around and you're welcome. The subtlety of that in all the examples you go through, it's everywhere in leadership is the subtlety of it. And that really comes from, part of it comes from experience, but it's also recognizing what are other people going through before you make a decision.
This reminds me of something we talked about early on this podcast. This podcast was, I was saying, listen, if you're doing it right, you're winning a battle and the other person doesn't even know that there was a battle going on, right? You won and then you have to control your ego enough that you don't say, look, I just won, you didn't even know it. Because then you just threw it out the window. Same thing here. If you're really doing leadership well, the team barely even knows that you're leading them. They can barely even feel it. It's like this unseen force is there. They kind of know, but they almost feel it's their own force. And they're making things happen that they think are their own things. And all you're doing is you're being so subtle that they barely even know that they're being led. And that is optimal. Now, you do have to be careful because people have to, you can't do that so much that they don't recognize you as the leader, because now there's going to be times when they look to turn to someone and they don't turn to you, right? Which can be a problem. So we have to be a little bit careful, but that is so rare that you could actually pull that off. And the reason it's rare to pull that off is because teams and organizations and people trying to get things done require leadership.
Yeah.
They require times when the leader's known. And so those times are enough, few and far between. If it's 7, like we talked about on the last podcast, if it's 7 times in every 3 years, is there anyone that's walking around like, well, I doubt Jocko's, he doesn't even seem like he knows what's going on anymore. Like there's no one walking around saying that. But the leadership is subtle. It's like, we seem to be, man, we're doing good. What's going on here? This is working out nice. Wow, this is cool. No one's going like, hey, well, I'm ready to I'm doing all this myself.
Yeah.
And that's the way you want it to be. You want to win without them knowing you're fighting, and you want to lead without them barely even knowing that you're leading. And the hardest part of that to do in both those cases is put your ego in check enough that you can win without gloating and that you can lead without credit. That's what you want. I'm going to continue on here. When someone else wouldn't step up quickly, it was usually because no one else had noticed that there was a leadership vacuum. They wouldn't notice because they were not detached. Their minds were absorbed in the situation. Since I practiced being detached, I wasn't lost in the details of what was going on. I was mentally in a different place, looking at the scenario unfold from a virtual distance, which allowed me to see problems more quickly. That still doesn't mean I would jump right in. By letting a little more time pass, by letting that leadership void linger just a little bit longer, everyone else would begin to notice it. They would recognize there was a problem. Since that time passed and now everyone else knew there was a problem, when I gave orders on how to solve it, people would listen and they would execute. Another reason to pause before jumping into a leadership vacuum as soon as you see it is to make sure that no one else is jumping in there. If 2 people step in to fill a leadership void at the same time, they usually bump into each other when they get there. And then while the problem's growing, they have to take precious time to sort out which person is actually going to lead and which one is going to stand down. And if egos clash at that moment, we're going to have an even bigger problem. I would rather avoid that. If someone else is going to step in with a plan, it's fine with me. When I see the void, I pause, look around, assess if anyone else is going to step up and lead. While I do this, the problem grows. Pretty much very soon, everyone notices the problem. I see that and then step up and make a call that everyone needs to be made. Now, this is a real obvious answer, but it's not so obvious when you're in the heat of the moment. Something's going on, and I make a call and Echo makes a call at the same time. What do?
Let me lead.
Immediately defer. All right, hey, cool, I got you. I mean, as long I assess your plan in a half a second and go, good enough. All right, cool, I got you. You're right, go.
Yeah, but you got to be like pretty aggressive with that, letting them lead. Because you know how like you're going to the supermarket, right? And then you're walking in, and you're about to hit the entrance door. Boom, and someone else is coming with they're hitting the entrance door at the exact same time. See what I'm saying?
Part of your team or unknown?
Unknown or whatever. No, unknown. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I guess unknown, but whatever. Yeah, unknown. This is where it would happen the most with stranger. Then you're like, oh, you're a polite guy, right? Let them go, but they're just as polite as you. So they're like, no, you go. No, you go. And then you guys both decide, okay, let's not play this game. I'll go. But you both decided at the same time, so you guys both go. Now you're at step one again. See what I'm saying? So what I would do.
Okay.
I'm not saying
you had one good comment today. Maybe you're reaching.
Really
no. But understand, it kind of seems like the same thing. Different
That
level.
is the same
different
thing.
level.
It is the same thing where both people are going, all right, I'm going to make a call.
Right.
And that is why, yes, you're right. That's why even when I did this 4-second role play, I was like, you're right, you got it.
Go
I'm
all aggressive,
going to make it that clear.
Yeah. I feel that way too. Like if someone's like, nope, you go. Like straight up, nope, you go. If they have like this weird aggressive sort of way, I will be way more compelled to go. See what I'm saying? Or if it's like a lot of times, if it's like with a friend who you're just not quite as close with them, so there's kind of you're still trying to be polite. I'll just push them in.
We might want to do a podcast on that, like just that, right? Just supermarket entries.
Maybe.